All right. How's everybody?
Great.
Yep.
Good.
So while I have you here all unmuted, and yeah, Ursula, I got your message, and I'll chat with you after the meeting. What'd you think of that deeded thing? You guys are a great cross section.
Oh, I'm definitely going to use that.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I recently had a client who was, I feel like they were jeopardizing the potential closing of their place because of indecision on a lawyer. And I just think, this would make it much simpler. Definitely.
It makes me think about process and how we could even improve our process in dealing with lawyers who are, I think this guy's going to make lawyers between COVID and a guy like this, he's going to make lawyers smarten up because, they're still making you come in and visit them face to face to show your ID so that you can, so that they can act for you. Even you have to jump through hoops if you're overseas or traveling. And if you don't have an existing relationship with a lawyer, good luck. And so now that obviously because of COVID, it's started to change, but this guy was onto this before COVID, which was interesting. And I think it's put the wind at his back. What do you think, Sandra?
I think maybe not in all cases, but I think it's definitely an option to provide. I'm still into relationships and loyalty, and it's hard for me. It's hard to sway me from that.
Yeah. But
definitely providing as an option. I think it definitely has some great, tools too, for sure. I think it's great.
Yeah, you guys know one of my closest friends is Angelo Di Michele, and he was telling me how the law firms have been forced to change. And so, they used to send their clerk to line up in the bank to get the bank draft and all this stuff. And everybody was doing it so slowly. And I'll be honest with you, I guess if I didn't know Ange, I would jump on a portal like this in a flash. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is we know too much about transactions, right? And we know that things can go wrong, and it would worry me a little bit because of that. And I feel a digital lawyer, I'm not sure. I know they're humans sitting somewhere and they're lawyers. It's not Reuven is doing it. He's built the platform, but I would still probably deal with Ange unless I was really busy. And then and I didn't have time to do it. And I'd say, shit, let's just try this, and I could think of a lot of clients that wouldn't dream of going to a lawyer's office. They'd love to do it this way. How about you, Ben?
I'm just wondering if that more so comes down to the preference of the client and what they're comfortable with as well.
Yeah. We never had the option.
So, I just feel like, for something as, I guess, important as the documents that you're dealing with the lawyers, I feel like a lot of people might be hesitant to go through it digitally. Yeah.
They seem to catch all the security questions though. With how they handle documents. It's interesting. What do you think, Delbert?
Well, what I think is that it boils down to convenience. And have you guys ever had an experience where a lawyer sent and asked you for a document that you already gave them? So yeah. I take that from it because I had a situation where a lawyer called me one day a few years ago. I was sitting on the bridge in Niagara Falls and he wanted something from me, so else I wouldn't close.
Wow.
So I think that's a great convenience way to go.
Yeah. Debbie?
Well, I have to agree with Ben because I think it's going to be personal preference because, I think the older generation are more with the relationships and the younger generation are so computer savvy and everything's digital for them. Huh?
Are you saying I'm old?
We're the older group.
That's awesome. Jen, would you use it?
I think so for the right client. Like Debbie and Ben have said, I think it's going to be very situational based. I love the idea of having a digital platform where you can sort of see the progress sort of like Uber Eats where you can track your food, and just sort of streamlining everything. But I also know that I've got some potential clients that wouldn't be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
They would want the in-person contact and to be able to sort of know who they're dealing with and see that person.
Sure.
But I think for convenience sake and for a client that doesn't have a preference or maybe doesn't have a lawyer contact already, I think it's a great tool.
Yeah. Ursula?
Yes, I definitely find it interesting because now that I had some transactions done, I'm always curious to know what's the latest status of the like the paperwork. Sometimes I get an email from, I don't know who that person is asking for well, I assume it's a lawyer because it says like a lawyer, but they're asking me to send them a copy of the agreement, and I thought that our office sent a copy to them directly. So I'm wondering, is this safe? What are they asking me to send this? And
Yeah,
for my,
we do.
sorry?
We do send it.
Yeah.
So like Delbert said, there's a lawyer asking for what they've already gotten. They're a paper business, right? I mean, they go through a ton of paper. So I can see it getting lost. I thought it was, the first time I talked to him about it was about 8 months ago. And they were just getting going. And I thought, okay, he didn't have all the answers when he was first starting. Maybe it was closer to a year ago. But we've been in touch since then, and I'm thinking, wow, like that's pretty cool. If I was old school lawyer meeting my clients, I would be looking to find ways that I could adopt that technology and give choices the same way too. And I'm sure the Law Society is doing that for them. But this guy was ahead, so kind of neat. I hope you'll take a look at our new website. It's really good. We've been working on it for a long time, and its whole back end is stolen from the people who developed it, who offered to have us hire their guy to do it, and which was great. And so how that's going is that we're expecting to really climb in ranking and in lead gen. The site builders brokerage that has been using it and developed it is getting roughly 10 times the traffic on their site than we are. So it's like crazy. So we're hoping for a lot more action there. So which now I think I got lost, but we're talking about commission today, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So why did I have a deja vu? Like we already talked commission. Is it because Arnold was a week ahead and was talking commission?
It was Ben.
Yeah,
It was Ben.
Oh,
Ben. Yes.
Ben. Oh, I blamed Arnold. He's not here. We can blame him. So, Ben, anything to add from last week, or?
Yeah, I got a little bit. I liked how when he was talking about if they asked like, oh, I want to take like 0.5% off of your commission, rather than say I'm just going to reduce the commission by 0.5%, which doesn't really sound like much, but it does equate to a lot of money. You could say that I'm reducing it by 20% of my own commission. So I think that almost sits heavier in someone's mind on how much money you're actually taking away from the agent themselves. And so I just thought that was interesting how you can easily just convert that into a way larger number on how much money they're getting back.
Yeah.
So I thought that could be a very useful tactic.
Yeah.
And then as well, when they bring up just reducing the commission as well, not to get very defensive out of it all of a sudden, and just how your attitude and how you approach it can have a big impact on it as well. So I thought those were two pretty important points that you brought up.
That's great. By the way, did everybody have a chance to go through the content?
I didn't get fully through it, but I've seen some of it.
Okay, I'll pick on you next week then. Delbert, where are you at?
Where am I at? Yeah, I went through it, and what I take from it is I like the idea of a neutral reduce in the price, and also the commission breakdown, because from the jump, people always think that all the money goes in your pocket, and that's why they think that they should get a discount.
Yeah.
So I like that approach, and also the cheap car techniques.
The which?
The cheap car techniques.
Which one was that?
The one with, you compare like, why do you buy a Benz? That's if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
applicable.
Yes.
Why would you buy a Benz opposed to be, we call it jalopy?
Or anything. Why would you
Yeah.
buy anything that's the worst versus the best or somewhere
And
closer?
it's because of the journey.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like those concepts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Deb?
Well, I have to confess, I actually forgot about this. And Sandra asked me this morning where we are, and it's like, oh my goodness. So I was scrambling this morning trying to get through, and I got through half of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did get part of it. One of the things I've always found is if the person by nature is cheap, doesn't matter what you say, what you do, how much value, they just want to take you for everything you got. They want you to do it for nothing because that's their nature. And I've always struggled with that. I've never been able to. And I have friends who I know are like that. And you can't change them.
Yeah.
So
And that's where, when you've exhausted all your approaches,
mhm.
and you have to make a decision. I think a big lesson in this is that many times as agents or whatever business you're in, you don't exhaust all your options of trying. And, you give up at one objection, or you give up at two, or you just don't have the words. You're not sure what to say. You don't think about all the approaches.
Right.
I think some of the toughest nuts can be cracked if you have enough tenacity to continue going down your own road with them. And you may not get what you want, but you likely get more than they want initially, if you're skilled well enough. And then there's some that you say, I'm out. There comes a point where you're not going to do it for whatever your margin is in your head. Everybody's got a number, and there's a number when you say, you know what, I'm not doing it. And so that's and what we find overall in dealing with many different business people as agents is the busier you are, the tougher you get. And it's just true. The more prosperous you've been in the last month, the more likely you're going to be tougher. It's just, cash brings confidence, I think.
Yeah, so true.
What do you think, Sandra?
So two things I want to talk about. So definitely delivering your value, presenting your services, and helping them understand, like truly representing the value that you're bringing to the table, and showing them why they're paying whatever it is that your commission structure is, but showing them why they're paying, let's say, the 5%, and breaking it down and showing them, by providing them with, video, staging, like A, B, C, and D, and how it could affect, like really being able to explain that. That's something I sometimes do well and sometimes I don't do well. The difference of what they could make if they did, like what they're netting. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think I'm delivering what I'm trying to say. Expressing the value that you're bringing to the table, all your services, so that you could also explain to them why they will net more. So if they're paying 5% commission, but in the end they're going to be netting more because they paid you the 5% commission, because you provided them with all those services. I think that's what we need to always, I think that's very important right there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Okay. So now suppose we've got that under the table perfectly, and we're delivering, and we're doing this, we're doing that. And then you've got agents that are cutting their services and cutting their commission, and they're providing them with the exact service. And we're competing against some good agents that do that. And that's where I find I buckle down.
Yeah, I think that's a personal decision. And I can tell you that we have people in our company that occasionally you see it go like this, and it's usually because of that.
Yeah.
They'll take a rate that's less than they normally would. The interesting thing is you have others who just say, that's not how I work, and they walk, and they're walking from stuff. And I know, I have sometimes difficulty with that, because I think, well, what's your bottom? And that's their bottom. Like, whatever your bottom is what it is. And then you can, then you can live with yourself, and then you can be truthful to your clients and say, friends and family get it for this. We don't know each other, and you're not related, right? So, repeat friends, family, and repeat customers. Friends, family, and if you do 2 transactions with me, get it for this.
Mhm.
And so that's what qualifies you to get the friends and family rate, and period. And so, and it's your decision to hold it.
Yeah.
It's not mine, right? It's yours. But if you don't go through the exercise of kind of thinking it through and thinking, what's my bottom rate? What won't I work for? Then how do you make that decision? Based on what? It's tough.
And in all honesty, I don't believe in cutting back the services, because
No.
from the bottom of my heart, I deeply believe by delivering everything I say I want to deliver, I know I'm going to bring them more money to the table. I have not even 1% in my mind doubts that. And that's why I struggle.
And I agree with you. And so you have to be very convincing. I think is a big part of it. Sometimes I wrote down 3 things, and the 3 things I wrote down, the first one was do more. So outside of commission, look at what your offering is and do more. Not everyone does all the things that you just said, and so if you're not doing floor plans and Matterport and virtual tours and whatever it is you're doing, and you're staging and you're marketing and you're reverse marketing, you're doing all these different things, you're not doing enough if you're not doing all those things. And for a seller, for sure. And I see how your listings are presented, and your photography is very good. Yet I know that there's people out there that still take pictures with this, and you can tell. There's still the odd listing that has snow on it or no leaves on it, and they're using old photography. Like, there's all kinds of crap out there. So, when I search the MLS, I always try to, when I see a weird or shitty photo, I look down to see who it is, and it's never who you think. Like, would never be one of you guys. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And so I think doing more is important, and you really need to think, okay, I need to do all these things for every listing. The second thing I wrote down was show more. So, or explain more, because I don't think we take the time to tell the people all the little steps that we do. And that would be, this session reminded me that it's a good idea for me to put a survey out to everyone in the company to say, let's work on one document together of all services that you provide and all the little things, all the memberships. When you look at Geo Warehouse and you verify sizes and you pull these reports and you do all this stuff, nobody knows what we do, and if you kind of tell them all the little things you do, you're going to actually resist discounting when you think about everything that you do for a client. And then even to closing, all the way through it, when you check in with them, when you help them with their utilities transfer, when you recommend a lawyer, like every little thing that you do is things that I don't think we explain to them enough of what we do for them. And the last thing I wrote down was be more. So if you haven't taken a course lately, you guys are obviously doing it. We're doing this every week. But if you're not improving yourself, if you're not hiring a coach, if you're not doing something to improve your skill set, then it's on you. I mean, you guys taking this, you've heard a lot of these words before, with the exception of Jen. And if you're doing this, you stand out. amongst your peers. So I think that's good too. So I think if you can do more, show more, and be more, I think you get more. And that was my take on it. Ursula, tell me what you thought.
For when it's time of commissions, I honestly didn't watch that session this week. I haven't listened to it.
So why don't you weigh in next week on those two? Both you and Jen can do that next week. So we just wrap up on this, because if you haven't done it, then there's a lot of good content there. So I think it would be better for you both to go through it.
Can I ask a question, Alex?
Sorry?
Just need to ask a question when you're finished.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I just need to ask a question if you're finished.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. A buyer's representation bonus. How do you feel about that? You know, the part that he speaks about, you know, which house would you sell if you were playing a real estate agent? Which house would you sell if you were a real estate agent? How does that affect that? You know, let's say the code of conduct. How do you feel about that?
I think it's fine. It doesn't really play a part in this market.
Okay.
But you can imagine if you've got lots of inventory and your days on market are, 45, 50 days, and people are bonusing all the time. We've had, you guys haven't been around a bad market except for Deb. You have. And in some of the worst markets, I remember having a listing in the early 90s, and my client was a manager of Dalt's Honda, and he threw in a Honda Civic to any agent who would get his house sold for him. And we put it right in the remarks for brokers. So there's competitive offering bonuses on commission in a bad market is very applicable. In this market, you'd be a fool to try and play that game as a buyer agent or as a listing agent. I think you'd just be costing the seller money. But sometimes it works. If you were listing, if it wasn't as spicy as it is now, if you listed something in Cambridge or Kitchener-Waterloo and you offered 3 points to cooperating broker, you'd get their attention because everything's 2. So yeah, I don't think you're violating the code of ethics. I guess some people might say, well, as an agent, why are you picking that one? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the one I'd show first, or at least I'd make sure I showed that one. I don't think you can influence whether someone buys it or not by the cooperating broker commission, but I sure as hell would I'd show it.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to chat about? A question like that or anything else? How are you guys feeling? Yeah.
Good.
Tired. Stayed up till late watching TV.
You and me both.
Well, it's funny because we've got Debbie who forgot about it and Sandra didn't do it. And they're calling each other and they're going, I don't know.
No, I listened to the whole thing. I listened to it.
You must have thought about it at 4 a.m. or something and jumped out of bed.
No, I was like 60 or 70% through. So then the last 30% of it, I finished today.
That's funny.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't off on the wrong one.
That's funny. Guys, it's always good to see you. I'm here all day. If you want to give me a call, Ursula, I'll give you a call within the hour. We can go over that message. Anything else you guys have? You all good?
Yep.
Good.
Awesome. We'll see you
I've
around.
got some stuff I'll talk to you about in office later this afternoon, Alex.
Okay, fantastic.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.